Alright, let's fucking wrap up this game, shall we? We have, one more stage to go. I think I should probably just look at the bonus shit real quick. Already loaded up on tanks. Accidentally lost a life off screen, but that's no big deal, really. I'm gonna be doing this all in one go. Goodbye. Yeah, this is probably the most entertaining part of Eternal to a lot of people. It's the fact that you are able to... And then, you know, the fact that the charge shot bounces him even further across the... And then, if you shoot him enough times, Dr. Light will go berserk and try to Hadouken you. So, it's a funny thing you can do, I guess. Artwork. We got Draku's sketch. The fact that these are kind of like, what do you call it? Zoomed in? I forget how to... I don't know if you can... Oh yeah, that's the button, right. You can kind of see the up... But when you zoom out, they're kind of... It's not entirely... I think it's kind of nearest neighbored. It's more like a bilinear filter. It doesn't look that good. I'd prefer if it was just regular, the regular image at that rate, because I mean because when you zoom in it's kind of, because when you zoom in it's clear, but when you zoom out it's not clear. Whatever. We also got you know, Karakato's work. Both illustrations are presumably based off the sprites, not vice versa, so... Draku's art... Or Shireen's art, I guess. Karakato's art. Yeah. Both artists were, starting off. This is their current work doesn't look like this, well... Not this jank, but I digress. It is a gallery of stuff. Doesn't really get interesting until we get past the Robot Masters, I think. Derp. Also derp. This one looks passable. Anyway. I guess that was just sketched after the... Not sure. And then this. It says it was by Draku, and if that's the case... Well, I can't scroll down all the way to check. If it was completely by Draku, then... You missed some things. This is just traced from the Complete Works Mega Man 5 illustration. You think I wouldn't know that? This is, like, from an Archie Comics panel. And I already mentioned the frickin' Mega Man killers and base. Those are also traced. Yeah, really good collage. You did good. And the cutscenes. Forgot to mention those. What is that hand? Yeah, I know I could ridicule the art all day. Whatever, it's the end. It's the gameplay that matters in the end. I know. This is traced. I already said that was traced. And, yeah. Fan art, well, it's fan art. Can't really diss on fan art, I guess. Even though a lot of them have creative liberties, whatever. Fan art's fan art, whatever. It's alright. And of course, all the OST. Maniac is right. Now you can listen to it if you want. What? I can shoot Dr. Light, but I can't shoot Roll? That's like reverse laws of robotics. What? Alright. Anyway, I think it's time to actually wrap this game up. Kevin Stage 2. Actually aged pretty well. It sets the mood. It feels pretty good. The stage is kind of nothing. It's a nothing stage, but it, like, but that's kind of like most end game, like the final Wily stage. It's just a short little thing to set the mood. Again, the Yoku blocks acting weird. Whoops. And, the lightning in the background. Yeah, flashing white. That's not epileptically insensitive at all. Yeah. You don't have to mention it in the comments, Zealdeck. I already know. You complained about it multiple times. Whoops. My bad. And of course, this was the stage that had an accidental missing pit somewhere. Maybe here, or down here. Somewhere over here in this opening stretch, I guess. Oops! So yeah, that's a thing. Some design choices are, again, questionable. Like, this part's obviously fine. The rain looks bad, but I digress. It sets a mood. This screen, you can see everything that's going on in advance before you go, so that's not poorly designed. This is laughable. I don't know anyone who... Well, I've seen people use Primal Bomb, but you really don't need to, and the weapon energy really doesn't need to... Neither of those need to exist, if I'm being honest. I guess that's just if you're not thinking. I like how it's just barely out of reach. Whatever. At least that gimmick shows up a second time on a second screen. If we were sticking by the 12 principles of animation, I would make it move a bit more exponentially up and down, like, I don't know, use a sine function or something. But I digress. And yeah, you can just kill yourself real quick if you want. In the frickin' boss corridor. But now it's time to fight the actual Wily machine! Oh! Alright, it's Mega Man 2, it's Wily Machine 2, what the fuck? You lazy cop-out! JK. It's a big boy. Obviously, an amalgamation of Game Boy 4, Final Boss, and Game Boy 2, no, not Game Boy 2, just NES 2. And frickin' look, and then repainted to look like an Eggman mech or something, I don't know. The weakness is cipher decode, and it's kind of obligatory, and the dev footage for this boss was recorded pretty early on, insinuating that this boss was made near the beginning of the game's development, along with the respective weakness. So yeah, cipher decode was literally made before the boss, if I'm putting the pieces together correctly. Again, that's conjecture, but it really does reflect how poorly it's balanced otherwise outside of this one fight. As for the fight itself, it's typical Eternal rapid-fire moves that don't really mesh together all that well. I think another thing that makes a good a boss fight good is that if you're going to... Yeah, you're not really going to be able to predict which way those explosions move, or that the lasers are even, you know, don't damage you. Where was I? Oh yeah. And the moves don't really have a proper rhythm in how they're combined. They're like, oh yeah. What makes a good boss fight is that if you have a bunch of moves, they should kind of... They should at least go together well in a smooth manner. Here, the way the stomping operates feels out of rhythm with the actual moves of the fight. And yeah, that explosion hitbox is large, and the lasers don't really signal that they're not a hitbox, so yeah, that move is awkward. The fact that fists kind of come out of nowhere, and it just doesn't... It's just kind of, ow, awkward in general. Yeah, not a fan. And of course, these get faster the lower health they're on. Whoops, I accidentally... Depending on where it falls, you can make it easier or harder on yourself if it's like on one side of a screen. I accidentally cornered myself by a couple pixels. This is also a bit awkward. You can avoid it, but it's kind of... I don't know. Not a good Wily fight in comparison to the previous machine. That's for sure. You can tell it was made at the beginning of development. You can tell some of the bosses and maybe some of the stages were made at the beginning of development. Like 2009, we're talking. Or 2008. The frickin' Wily 4, that stage layout, maybe not the enemies, but definitely the layout, I can tell it was probably, it feels like it was made around that time. So yeah, that's kind of what happens when you make the ending of the game before the rest of the good parts of the game. Ow. This final Wily Capsule is not a good way to end either, in my opinion. Yeah, you finally have Rush. This move is good. I like this move. But the way Rush operates in this, and the way the moves are handled is really not... Ow! And the way you can just teleport out of nowhere. Yeah, you can tell this part was also made at the beginning of development. I'm just getting knockback comboed. Whoops. I accidentally used a knee tank. Well, no turning back now, I guess. Fuck. That move is a bit annoying because there's no signal to whether it's going to be a diagonal or a cardinal split of... Oh, this one. This move is also incredibly irritating. He's completely immune during the entirety of it. There aren't really a lot of openings to hit him in this fight at all. And the fact... Rush frickin' moves faster to the right than he does to the left, and the knockback, you thought... Oh yeah, he also gets faster the more you hit him, so... yeah... This move is good, except when he launches it from the middle of a screen in which you have, like, no space to outmaneuver it. Ow. I do like this attack. Now you have to kind of align yourself. That's a fun move. I'm fine with this one. But the other moves, they're just... It's Eternal. It's typical Eternal, except the physics are somehow even worse than before. This is one strategy to avoiding some of his moves, but even then, it's... Avoiding that to get the maximum amount of shots in is kind of fun. Again, when he's not at the center of the screen. Ah, shit. It's this move again. Again, in typical Eternal fashion, there's no control over what moves he's going to do how many times in a row. There's no control over this particular move. You kind of just got to take it up the ass. So, yeah. Ow. Ow. You better not... Okay. This move I can kind of tolerate. Except when he does that. There's very little space to avoid it. Not that it's impossible, but just that it's not... It's significantly less than ideal. And then when you are damaged by this, you just get comboed, so yeah. Ah, shit. Ow. Yeah, I prepared for that and I still got comboed. It's, this is why I saved up all my E-tanks. And lost them all. Might have to reload a state. Just saying. Ow. Okay, I think I lost this one. GG, Dr. Wily, question mark. And that's a death. Be right back, folks. Or maybe I can still do it. I don't know. No E-tanks. That's gonna be fun. Yeah, avoiding that. That one was on me. Yeah, that's what you're supposed to do, but it's still pretty fantastic. Yeah, and when you get close, he does that instead. So really not. Yeah. You can do this, it's an alternate option, but it makes things a bit worse. Yeah, I think I'm gonna just come back with more E-tanks. BRB! Okay, we're back. You saw nothing. You did not see my crushing defeat. You also didn't see how bad this boss was. Okay, maybe you did. I feel like I think at this point I'd just be reiterating all my points if I kept rambling about the boss's problems. It's just a culmination of everything we've seen. Which, I mean, yeah, final boss should be a culmination of everything we've seen, but, that's not a compliment this time around. Eternal has obviously, shown its, true. I'm just gonna commit seppuku real quick. Get over here. Yeah, the game has shown its true colors by the end. Also, epilepsy, like major epilepsy. Yeah, the background's literally flashing from black to white to black to white. That's literal epilepsy triggering. Like, it's also just aesthetically displeasing. There is a reason, like, Super Fighting Robots Wily Capsule had, like, you know, it flashed like a dark shade of blue from the black instead of, like, pure white. Cossack's Castle also did that during the lightning animation, and Mega Man 9's Wily 1 did that for its... Oh, yeah. You can't avoid it, it's just tight. Ow. Yeah. Try avoiding that when you're this freaking slow. The physics are just atrocious in this. But also epilepsy unfriendliness. You know, the light sensitivity reminds me of the one time he called the fan community autistic and then doubled down on saying, well, he was using it as an adjective. Learn to English, Paige. It's an adjective either way. I believe his intent was that, well, he was referring to the sort of autistic syndrome of self-entitlement. Not self-entitlement. Expecting things to go as planned. Yeah. Which is a part of it, but he's still phrasing it as an insult, so either way it's ableist. The fuck are you doing? Trying to deny he ever said that. Nope. Still fucked that up. Well, on the plus side, I've only used one E-Tank so far. The fight's learnable, but not masterable. I'd rue the day that I tried to do this no damage, because that would just suck. Again, this attack is pretty cool when you have space to avoid it. Again, this would be a lot more enjoyable if, I don't know, it worked a bit more like 3's Rush Jet. For this particular fight, I mean, if you wanted to fix it. Because the physics, again, do not reflect the sophistication of the fight. Which, I mean, deja vu. Ah, shit. See, this run I got really lucky because he didn't spam this move 24/7. Yeah. But that's game. Well, yeah, so what I mean is, like, if he spams that move a certain amount of times in a row, you're basically screwed. Again, there's no balance over what moves are performed and, like, how many times in a row, etc. Also, dear God, the epilepsy, I think... Okay, I thought it was gonna crash from overloading. The upscaled explosions, oh God, they hurt my eyes. The clouds, oh God. Just the everything. Anime explosion. That was a jump. Certainly arcs were coded into that one. Yeah, you can tell this cutscene was also made at the beginning. Well, it certainly feels like it. What is that black stuff on the ground? What is anything? What is life? And as, to quote the great Nico Thulin, that text is not centered! Mega Man was reunited with Rush, and once again overcame danger. Okay. Dr. Wily wanted to do evil with the Mega Data and Rush. In the last struggle... Okay, no punctuation. With the help of Proto Man, Mega Man defeated the Mega Man killers and Dr. Wily. What has come of Dr. Wily? Will he ever return? Is this the time of peace? Only time will tell. Rest well, no punctuation. Our hero, Mega Man. I know it's supposed to be kind of a self-aware nod to the Japanese games which had that text. But, yeah... With that, GG. Our adventure comes to a close. Like I said with this song, it's a mashup of Love Somebody by Maroon 5 and Chiptune the Stars by the great Symphonichev. And I think it would have sounded better if it was just a 2AO3 cover of Chiptune of the Stars, but maybe that's just me. If you ever heard that song, it's pretty ballin', yeah. This credit sequence is 8 minutes long, so I've prepared some scripted thoughts for once. First of all, if you've made it this far, a simultaneous thank you and apology for bearing with me on this playthrough. Hearing me ramble on, unscripted, unrehearsed, stuttering like no tomorrow, clacking away at a tiny keyboard and stopping every 5 feet to point out a stray pixel. I originally made this for the Snupster Any Crew community as a sort of complimentary analytical addition to Nico Thulin's higher quality experience playing through this game, but apparently it has blown up to a bit outside the intended demographic. This was just an experience of me hyper-analyzing a game I hate to love and love to hate, and it's been a fun ride. To summarize Eternal, it is a beautiful and inconsistent mess across the board. The artwork is all over the place, both by design due to its fan-fueled nature and because of the amount of additional ripped sources outside of that. The sound mixing and OST are equally all over the place. The enemy bestiary is simultaneously too varied, as you're seeing right now, and functionally not varied enough. And it tragically does not know how to translate unconventional concepts into practical gameplay mechanics. Not to mention its obliviousness to basic game design principles, such as teaching the player the rules of the road, let alone sticking to its own rules of the road. The weapon balancing is wonky, the physics are a subject I don't even want to go to, and the boss fights are its redeeming aspect, but even then it's a coin toss. A third are good, a third are bad, and a third are so-so, all with rapid, sporadic patterns with 20 different moves. It was just too ambitious for its own good. You can make a good video game all by yourself, look at Cave Story, but it requires years of practice before going in. Eternal is what happens when you cannonball into a project blind with minimal research, go crazy, do your own thing, and make something that might as well not even be related to the source material it is attempting to homage. This is barely Mega Man. This is barely a platformer or even a video game. But it is a work of art, and it is a beautiful learning experience for all who play it. Not every first attempt is going to be the best attempt. Case in point. And you know what? That's okay. Through all the flaming and stubborn vitriol, calling the Mega Man fanbase autistic and trying to square up on every last stray opinion on your passion project, while I don't at all expect anyone else to, I forgive you, Paige. I wish you the best of frickin' luck on Eternal 2. You'll bet your lucky ass I'll be the first to play it, because the better it turns out, the exponentially higher of a leap it'll be from this. You know the saying, when you hit rock bottom, there's only one direction left to go. I hope you've learned a thing or two from this playthrough, and if not, hey, at least I learned some new things. Even though you can't really get better every time you replay, there is one aspect of Mega Man it got right, and that's you discover something new every time you replay. Maybe you can go back and play some of those Mega Man games you didn't like so much, like Unlimited, or 9. You never know. Some games you just gotta give a second shot, maybe a third, and I've given this game a fortnight's worth, for better or worse. I've been saying that phrase a lot. I think my fingers are bleeding or something. Well, as we approach the final cutscene, I guess I'll leave one parting thought. All good things must come to an end, but all bad things must too. The past may be forever, but the present is not forever, and anything or anyone can change. I'm your host, Lava Man, and this has been Mega Man Eternal.